Thank you for your interest in the Strawbridge family of faith, and more especially the hows and whys of its administration. Administration. Quite literally, it means to ministration, to ministry. That is, we're talking about all that goes on behind the scenes on the way to our being in ministry as a church family. To this end, then, this series of orientational videos has been produced for members and leaders and guests as well, all of whom might be interested in our organizational structure and the core processes at the heart of our mission and program. 2 documents available as PDF downloads from the Strawbridge website will assist you in this particular video on church structure. First, there's a leadership report, and second, a download which helps to image our structure. The left column of the leadership report defines the Church Council of Strawbridge. It is the highest decision-making body within the church and is composed of various lay leaders, our clergy, and staff members who serve in special representative capacities. Within and around this core council, several subgroups are worth noting. A steering committee, defined in the top of that left column, serves to establish council agendas between sessions in the hopes of making the best of the council's time and making sure that the council is spending its time on big-picture issues. You'll also note several subcommittees of the council, all defined in the right column. There's a program council, the entire membership of which also sits on the church council, so important is programming and ministry to who we are. There's a finance committee which oversees the development, management of a balanced budget each year. There's a board of trustees which oversees property and legal concerns of the church. There's a pastor-staff parish relations committee which serves as a liaison between the congregation and the staff, advocating the needs of each side to the other. There's a committee on lay leadership which oversees the selection and equipping of lay leaders throughout the system. Finally, as there's a need, special committees like the endowment committee may be set up by the church council to oversee functions or operations which go beyond the function of these 5 core subcommittees or work teams. Before we leave this document, it might be worthwhile to note 1. Paragraph references throughout the report refer to pertinent passages in the Book of Discipline, which is the official standard for polity and doctrine in the United Methodist Church. 2. Numbers in parentheses by individual names throughout the report refer to the total consecutive years an individual has held a position, with the import being that no individual can hold any position for more than 3 years in a row. One way of conceptualizing this, and here we're turning our attention to the second download document, is by looking at the church's organizational chart. Here we see the council as the core board of directors for the church. While we don't want to overly complicate things here, it might be important to note that, as suggested in the central box, there are some times when the business of the church is of such a high degree of importance, when the council is presided over by a representative of the bishop called the district superintendent, or a pastor of the church designated by him or her. In such cases, when the church council convenes, it's designated as a charge conference. Operating around the core of this central council, you'll see the very groups we defined before. In most cases, circles overlapping with the council circle has a way of saying that they have membership, usually through the chairperson, which overlaps with the core council. Again, here you see the various subcommittees of the council. The Staff Parish Relations Committee, which oversees matters related to the paid staff. The trustees, which oversee legal and property concerns of the church. The Committee on Lay Leadership, which oversees lay leadership recruitment and training. The Finance Committee, which oversees financial concerns of the church. And special standing committees like our Endowment Committee, which oversees special concerns acknowledged by the council. As suggested already, a special case in all this is the Program Council, whose importance and whose connection with all the various programs and ministries of the church allows for 2 essential and noteworthy provisions in its definition. provisions conveyed in this chart. 1. The entire membership of the Program Council sits on the Church Council, hence its circle is entirely within the Church Council oval. And 2. The ministries and programs that the Program Council represents and oversees are so diverse and numerous that Program Council members themselves are actually chairs or leaders of various subcommittees or ministry teams of the church. Hence you can see the listing of various subgroups emanating from the Program Council circle, subgroups or teams or committees which oversee various functions in our church's mission to make disciples by reaching up, reaching in, reaching with, and reaching out. Before we leave this chart, we might point out the text box at the bottom of the page, a box which conveys primary liaison relationships between staff members and various administrative and program areas. While we seek to be a lay-driven church, we acknowledge the importance and value of staff being connected to each part of our structure. Because there's some value in repetition, we might employ one last analogy to complete this orientation. While some balk at any reference to the church as a business, it serves our purposes well here. In fact, so long as we recognize our unique mission and the real bottom lines we seek, the business analogy may not be as crass as some reactions suggest. Still, to the point of this analogy and the wrap-up of this orientation. As already suggested, the Church Council is the core board of directors of the total operations of our church family. This is the forum for addressing ultimate issues of mission, of resource allocations, of vision and strategic mapping. The work this council is about is with and through various departments. The trustees, who serve as managers of the legal and facilities departments, the pastor staff parish relations committee, and the committee on lay leadership, which serve as personnel and human relations departments for staff and lay leaders respectively, the finance committee, which serves as the department overseeing income, payables, audits. Finally, there's the program council, which serves as a mega department, which combines the functions of research, development, marketing, production, distribution. It's here that the program and ministries of the church are hammered out, adjusted, refined, resourced. The work here is so broad, in fact, that this department operates through various divisions which oversee and champion aspects of our reaching up, reaching in, reaching with, and reaching out. Of course, the unique mission of the church and its founder has us needing to acknowledge two essential ways the business of the church is totally unlike any other corporation in this world. 1. In the Spirit of Jesus, there is no one department which reigns. To be sure, the Program Council, which generates ministries, is important, so much so that the other departments seek to do all they can do to serve the Council by maximizing resources, money, staff, facilities, to be at its disposal for ministry and ministry development. This servant posture, though, is reciprocal, as the Program Council does all it can to steward these resources and to respect the concerns of these other servant groups. Regard for the Program Council underscores that we seek to be a purpose-driven church, as some call it, and therefore not consumed with budget, buildings, personalities. Sensitive regard for the other departments in the body, though, demands that we drive that purpose prayerfully and responsibly. Maybe it can go without saying, but a crucial second way the business of the church is unlike any other corporation out there is the product it seeks to produce in cooperation with God, namely, disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Here, a second online video will be of import to you, which conveys the preferred path, the preferred process for making disciples at Strawbridge. As one engages that video, it's our hope that you'll see the important principle engaged, that form, our structure, and the spirit that surrounds that structure follows function. It follows our mission and vision of making disciples by reaching up, reaching in, reaching with, and reaching out. Our mission of making disciples who themselves reach up, reach in, reach with,